Sneak stream? 1 a.m. sneak stream? 1 a.m. sneak stream. I can't sleep. Why should you? Let's weep some peninsulas. So we're gonna rest at the site of grace. We have enough to add another charge to our flasks, which we're going to need. And we are now here in that first pseudo dungeon described earlier, Morn Castle. We are here to deliver a letter to one Edward Morn, I think his name is. We're also here to retrieve a sword. We haven't talked about the sword yet. The sword is interesting. The sword is not useless for my purposes, but the sword is interesting. Oh. Just a tiny little bit of visual lag here that I am not pleased with exactly, but it's alright. Alright. Now, we want our wolfy friends, and I should put my blue flask back in my bar. Alright. So, the reason we want our wolfy friends first is that there are several dogs over here that are going to be problems. Well, they could have been problems. Or not problems, apparently. They did get a hit in. Alright. That's encouraging. Not entirely indicative of... Oh! We are in the middle of the crowd. And that didn't go as well as I hoped it would. Oh well. Give it our first shot. The lag is messing with me a little bit. Although I'm not going to blame that on the lag. I should not have gone in there, guns blazing. Pretty good. I did get a chance to talk about the item crafting. It's not especially useful in most cases. However, it is useful in some cases. Making furl calling remedies for multiplayer, that's helpful. Making arrows in some cases is helpful. Making little throwing knives is helpful. In particular, making pots can be helpful, because if you don't have access to a ton of interesting items... oh, just 1 second. Social obligations. Always fun to watch in the middle of a YouTube video. I'm not going to edit these. I'm never going to make any money off of this stuff. I don't have the time nor patience to put out hyper-edited content yet. I'm considering doing video essays, and all I'm going to do is set up like a PowerPoint presentation and put my little PNG in the corner and record using OBS, going through the PowerPoint presentation to avoid complex editing to start out with. Alright, so first order of business is to grab that. Now, let's put our fire pots on our bar. And summon our wolves. And start throwing pots. Note how strong these are. Like, these are not to be fucked with. Oh, man, that guy fucks up my wolves so bad. Alright. We clear out. Oh. Oh! Ow! He's knocked out. I tried to guard that with my weapon out. That was not a wise idea. Woo! Well, we got through it, and we still have some heals. Not a lot, but some. I got some smoldering butterflies to collect here, which we want because those help make fire pots, and you just saw how useful those are. It's easy to ignore the item crafting system in this game the entire time if you don't plan on using it and you already have access to spells or other tools. If you don't have access to spells or other tools, these are incredibly useful in shoring up a weakness in your arsenal. And a lot of them are very easy to make. Mushrooms, I got plenty of those. Smoldering butterflies, got plenty of those. I should be walking around with 4 fire pots at almost all times. So, once I get a bow, we can make arrows. We can make blood arrows, even. And bleeding is an incredibly useful status effect in Elden Ring. Incredibly useful. Alright. So we can go up that way. I feel like there was an item in here somewhere. There's a particular item I'm after. Yeah, there it is. I'm still used to Dark Souls 3. More social obligations. So how's the weather? It's raining here. Alright, so, yeah. The Claymore is one of the most versatile weapons in the game. It is strong enough with access to good enough weapon arts. Hang on. That did it. Oh, pardon me. Thanks for our stone. The Claymore is strong enough on its own as a sort of a base weapon without any infusions or anything like that. To really kind of go the whole game. And the weapon arts you can put on it, you know, range from stuff like Lion's Claw, which is a sort of flipping slash that's really powerful, to just Impaling Thrust, which is a sort of dashing, quick, shield-breaking thrust. It also has access to a thrust attack on its heavy attack on both one- and two-handed versions, I believe. our 1- and 2-handed movesets, I believe, which is also important. Note that we only have access to thrust with our broadsword through the weapon arm, the Asher Lord. That becomes an issue for certain kinds of enemies. It also becomes an issue of range and stagger. I've noticed that thrust attacks in this game tend to do quite a bit of stagger damage compared to standard slashes. Jumping heavies notwithstanding. He wasn't standing either. Alright. So, what we're going to do, I think, is take this route down, because we're low on healing, and I don't want to press my luck any further than I have to. We're going to go ahead and head to the boss of this area. Because there is a boss. And I think we have more than enough stuff to level up quite a few times. Let's get that vigor to 20. Start bumping strength. I want strength to 20, and then I want faith to 20. Yeah. We have quite a bit to go before we head to Margit for the first time, which is indicative of how much game is in Elden Ring. Margit, for many people, is considered to be sort of the first real boss, and yet we won't be touching him for a while. We've killed the dragon, and that is going to give us access to something that I think I would very much like to have. Jump this gap. Alright. Down through here. Pickled turtleneck. Notice that that guy doesn't bother us too much. Please help me. I'm of noble blood. If those hideous mongrels eat me, I'll be forever marred. The slimes are not worth messing with unless you have some resin on your weapon. They just aren't. A lot of these guys do not attack you at the outset. They're not interested in you. I don't know if there's a way to trigger them all at once, because that seems like it's a trap to me, right? Like, you do something and then all of them start attacking you, you get mobbed and you die. So, out of a very American sense of caution, I'm doing a preemptive sweep. If you go and you talk to Mr. Morn before heading in this direction, you end up... there's a talisman up here we could use. I don't even think we have a talisman equipped, do we? You know what? That could be useful. Mr. Morn has lost his family's blade amid the assault of the misbegotten who previously served his house. And he will not leave without it. And so speaking to him first really just kind of wastes time, because then you have to go back through and head back this way anyway. Head down and then get the sword, which is down here on the beach. This is kind of what I mean when I say Castle Morn is sort of a pseudo-legacy dungeon, and really kind of a better tutorial area than... Well, I shouldn't say tutorial area, but, you know, opening area than Stormveil is. Stormveil is huge, and has just a colossal amount of stuff to find, with enemies that, if you haven't done some work previously to get some smithing stones and maybe some runes and some levels, you statistically, now, you know, there's always those crazy fuckos who do level 1 runs and things like that. You statistically are not going to be ready for those enemies. The game doesn't expect you to be ready for those enemies. Stormveil, if you go straight there and get past Margit somehow, is a fight. And it's a heavy one. It's a hard fight, and so you want to be prepared as best you can. Hang on. Oh. that. Alright. Hey, golden rune off one of the rats. A whip. Take a good look at it now, because you're never seeing it again. Never been able to make those work in a Souls game. I haven't. I'm not saying nobody can. I'm saying I haven't been able to. Alright, so if we have plenty of healing, I think, for that boss. If we can get past these fellas up here without too much of a scrap, I would be comfortable moving on to the boss without resting at that grace. I did light it, so we're fine there. Ow! Ah! We don't have to worry about it, do we? I got stubborn and didn't want to heal yet. That was on me. Alright. We will proceed apace. Now I gotta kill him, though. Like, on principle. What? Ugh! Bastard. Went in with one less healing anyway. Alright. Okay. We are hoofing it along. Don't hang out too long near the start. The jellyfish, they will get upset with you. Alright. What's up, you big bastard? I have a secret. Come on. He staggers super easy. That's the secret. And we have the Grafted Blade Greatsword. The ostensible tribute to George R.R. Martin in this game. Mimicking as it does the construction of the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones. I don't know if there's anything back here. I don't think there is. It's an interesting sight. Some kind of graveyard or catacomb turned into a battlefield. At which as we approach, the Misbegotten is kneeling. Alright. Now, we have, by and large, cleared the castle. Now we should go back and show the sword to Edward. And we're going to do that by traveling back to the Castlemorn Lift. We're going to call it down. We're going to head back up and then through without necessarily grappling with the big horde of Misbegotten. I like to kill those guys once so I can get that item and not really mess with them too bad after the fact. So that's what we're after. Alright. Pull this down. So yeah, we're going to need to put one more point in the Claymore. And eventually we're going to have to get our faith up, or rather our endurance up, both for stats, stamina, I should say, and what the hell am I talking about? Stamina and equipment. Wait, I can't think right now. Alright. So we want to take care of the buggies. Don't back up too much, or you will attract the attention of the misbegotten. And the only way this fight is going, that means it would be over. That would be it. Alright. So if you stick back here, these guys don't mess with you too bad. And the goal is just to push past this fella. We should heal just because I'm me. They always drop a Sanctuary Stone. They can, if you're extremely lucky, drop their helmet. I say lucky, I wouldn't wear it. Let me agree with you, we're probably going to be wearing the Confessor armor a better part of the game. A lot of Elden Ring fashion is not to my taste. There's quite a bit of it that is just... I don't know. I've always had a thing for, like, ornate and nice, interesting armor, right? And, you know, Elden Ring certainly has its share of ornate armor, with no question. The question I normally have, though, is why it's always got weird horns or scales or bumps or bulges. There's nothing that's humanoid shaped that stays humanoid shaped, and I just kind of don't vibe with that as well. Disappointingly to many people, I am not a monster fucker. Oh, Chaz, what does monster fucking have to do with the armor? You know why you want your knights to look like monsters. Come on. I see you. Hey, why are you not dead? Oh, hey, Iron Cleaver. Those are fun to do with. It occurs to me that I am sitting here just watching OBS and not even looking at there's happens to be anybody in the chat. There's not. Okay, we're good. Here's our man. See, look at his armor. I like his gear. Nice and simple.
There's a face I've not seen before. I'm Edgar, warden of this castle, as ordained by Lord Godric himself. But you can see how things have turned out. The menials have all rebelled. They gave me good service, or so I thought. But it seems it was all an act. Foul creatures, as it said. And true enough, they're foul inside and out.
That's racism.
Sorry to disappoint you, but whatever you come here to do, I'm afraid Castle Morn won't hold much longer. Take this by way of apology. I see. Thank you, but I can't. Even if the castle should fall, as commander, I must remain to ensure the treasured sword of Morn does not fall into the wrong hands.
What about my hands?
I'm in your debt for keeping the sword from those fallen creatures. I'm no longer bound by duty. Once I've rescued Irina, I will spend my remaining days with her. Thanks to you, and devote my Irina has a... I only hope it remains intact.
Foreshadowing. This guy dropped something. What you got? Alright. With that acquired, we are now off to Castlemore and Rampart. We're going to grab that map that I ignored because I got distracted by the soldier, or the cavalry. Where is that thing? That doesn't help. This way. You didn't see that? I didn't do that. All right. Maps. Now, there remain a few things to do in this area, and then we're heading back north. I can't remember really what there is left to do here. I know there's a set of demi-human, a demi-human camp with a demi-human queen that we should go tackle. The politics in Elden Ring are interesting. It's interesting to see... Oh, we should go check on Irina. Okay. We'll do that and then head to the camp. Let's take the scenic route. The politics in Elden Ring are interesting. Something has latched on to me. Is it a... Oh, was it that bear? I don't know. Edgar Morin couldn't comprehend. Oh, you're a big one. Why his servants had risen up to attack him, and attributed it to their foul nature. You see that a little bit in this game. The attribution of rebellion to a lack of reason or wit. In typical FromSoft fashion, Elden Ring shares a dim view of kings. Hello. Oh, nice. Poison Mist. I think it's an incantation in this game. I don't see really a reason to use it. But it is there. Should knock out our marker. Should fade. Alright, we're good. I find it harder to talk about Elden Ring lore than I do with some of the previous Souls games. You know, just because I haven't done the same kind of deep dive research that I normally have done with these games. Mainly because there are things in Elden Ring that, story-wise, kind of irritate me. I like... A big part of what I derive from the immersion in these Souls games is the implication that somewhere, someone knows the answers to most of the questions I would have. Somewhere, someone knows the origins of pyromancy, how it works, when it works, who does it, why they do it, etc. There's this pretty consistent... Well, that's the first one of the guys we've seen. There's this really consistent logic to a lot of it. Or at least that I perceive to be consistent logic. Pardon me. Elden Ring doesn't necessarily have that, as we've discussed earlier in the run-through. It doesn't... The Golden Order does not make a lot of sense to me. I don't know what it is. Is it a religion, a philosophy? Is it the rule set that the Elden Ring uses to kind of describe and define the principles of the world, and in so doing makes those principles real? Is that what's happening? Right? Because it's not clear to me. And that's a detail that I feel isn't necessarily great to not understand, if that makes sense. I would much prefer to know what the hell it is I'm talking about when the Golden Order seems to serve as such a central element of the story. But maybe I'm just not picking up on things I need to pick up on, or maybe I'm not doing the kind of research. Maybe I need to watch Vati. Vati is an extremely talented creator, but I have always... The fact that there's not like a lore through on this game from Epic Name Bro is a tragedy to me. I've always preferred the more conversational storytelling. Whoa! Hey, buddy. Oh! I'm not patient enough. Ah! I'm gonna get my ass killed. Alright, he's down. Unnecessarily close fight. That was not needed. These guys are interesting, aren't they? Gravity mages. Magic in Elden Ring seems to take sort of a different bent than many of the other games in the Soulsborne series. Instead of things such as defining it by pyromancy, soul magic, hexes, and miracles, it is instead... I don't remember what dungeon this is. Well, I guess we'll find out. It instead defines it by there are miracles wrought by faith, magic wrought by glintstone, and then some magic wrought instead by the movement of the stars, or gravity. Both glintstone and the stars, you know, are considered to be sorceries. Those kinds of magic. Why do I feel like I remember this? Why do I feel like it's a shithole? Okay. You may notice that I'm being especially cautious, is because these guys like to hide in corners and sneak up on you very quickly. There's often at least one of them hidden around a corner that won't trigger until you've walked into the room or tricked it into coming out a little bit earlier. If I remember correctly, this fucking dungeon has a watchdog. There should be one more in here. I would have thought. If I remember correctly, this dungeon has a watchdog with like 6 imps with it. think there's something up there too. These guys are definitely poisoned. Root resin, that's always helpful. We love root resin. Especially if we're going to be using a broadsword, we're going to want some damage buffs throughout the game. In particular on enemies that may be resistant to slash. Just in case they can't get access to better arts of war. I may put Impaling Thrust on here. I think you can do that with a broadsword. That would be neat. Alright. I think we're relatively safe to go ahead and push this lever. I was guarding. Oh, it's fucking... Ah! The door message. Oh, get me. All right. Tag on 2 heals. Yep. Ow. That was very close. He gets a third one. Stab. Ow. Back away, get a little bit of stamina back. All right. All right, got it. First try. I normally really hate that boss. More root resin, you can see down here. Really, that's more valuable than the fucking ashes. Alright. There's more stuff in there, but I'm not after it. I've got pretty much everything I need to complete the game at this point, really. Except for more smithing stones. Okay. Let's go see if we can't find that demi-human. The row of fruit are interesting because you're effectively picking up 10 little runes at a time. In a lot of cases. Alright, so we're not going to bother with these guys just to go around. Give him something to think about. Alright. Halo's Catacombs. Is that an Everjail? No. No, it's Magic Tower. Let's go unless we can't knock that out. Don't want that memory stone. wolves are not as dangerous as the dogs, and I don't understand why. Like, the shaggy dogs are the worst, followed by the bone dogs, and, like, you know, obviously there's the scarlet rot and, like, bleed dogs. And those are all terrifying. But the shaggy dogs are the fucking worst. Seek 3 wise beasts. Alright, so one's right there. One's right here. There's another one. Somewhere over this way. It's like up... I can't remember if it's this one or there's one that's up on a tree. Oh, this will be useful later. I can never remember the third location for this damn turtle. Right here? He's right here. Alright. Orbitus's rise. Yes, thank you. Climb up to the top of the rise. Grab the memory stone. And we can start heading back inland. It is a gorgeous atmosphere in this game. Can't fault it for that. The Weeping Peninsula is... They find such interesting things to do with what are effectively forested plains throughout much of the region, right? In Limgrave, it's sort of this muted green and gold, dominated by the Erd tree itself. And these sort of ruins and tombs and such. In the Weeping Peninsula, it's raining constantly. And while the Erd tree itself still shines gold in the distance, it's foggy and wet and has some elements, some hints to the strangeness that is ahead of you in the rest of this game. More so even than more so than even Limgrave. I don't know how you can't move that rock from that far away. Alright. So there, directly below us is arena. I think we can get down this way. Yep. Rest here. Grab that level and strength. We did not make it in time. She's dead.
Rena, how could this be? My daughter deserved better. The fault lies with me. I chose duty over my daughter's safety. And that is how fate has answered.
I'm keeping the sword.
I'll find them. The foul wretch is responsible for this. I'll hunt them down and exterminate every last one of them. Rest assured, Arena, it will be done. I'll The foul will hunt them, rest assured.
Get a good look at her character model. It will be important later. Alright. We are back inland to the forests. Heading for... what I described before. The demi-human camp. So, kind of curve and head this way. Instead of up the hill this time and over toward that tower, we're heading straight on into the woods. Notice how they stopped fighting? Something killed their leader. These plants are interesting. They appear capable of summoning similar beams of light to the winged knights from Dark Souls. Alright, mining tunnel. Warren tunnel. Keep getting distracted, don't I? Alright. Instead of the seal, let's do this so we can see, make sure we're not missing any smithing stones. Because again, smithing stones come at a premium until we're able to buy them off of a merchant leader. The more smithing stones we have, the more options for weapons we have. But if you haven't smithed a weapon at all, the damage fall off is so intense compared to the way the enemies grow in HP that it becomes genuinely unfun to play for me. Some people might enjoy it. I don't. Alright. Torch does fire damage and strike damage. Ergo, we are by and large safe to use it. Alright. Keep on moving this way. It did not go the way you thought it would, did it, pal? Comes down a lot of times to if you can deal with something faster than it can deal with you in these games, if one weapon combo is enough to do it, then you're going to be in much better shape, right? And that's kind of crucial because a lot of the enemies in Elden Ring don't stagger as easily. Some of them do. Some of them, like the Misbegotten boss, they stagger all the time. They stagger at the drop of a hat, and then they drop their hat, right? Like it's that's great, but a lot of them don't. These enemies don't tend to stagger. The Misbegotten don't tend to stagger all that much. You can mitigate that with guarding and whatnot, and that works. But another way is to just boost your weapon damage so thoroughly and so cleanly that you you just burn them down first. I prefer that method. Somber smithing stones, yes. Give me the boss weapons. Oh, hello. Taking a break. Large glintstone scrap. This will allow us to... I think I'm going to level a Claymore. I think I'm going to be boring and level a Claymore. I also think I'm going to be boring and heal. Yep, see, he didn't stagger there. Had I charged that and gotten that hit off, he wouldn't have hit. Alright. I think that's everything in here. Alright. Moving down. Before we move on, let's craft more fire pots so that we don't have to grapple with a bunch of these fellows at once. I don't want a critical hit on him because I have a talisman that restores health when I do that. Woo! I didn't see their buddies. Let's get some health back. Oh, too early. Now, notably, another interesting mechanic that is not outwardly discussed in like tutorials: if you are two-handing a weapon, you generally don't bounce. If you are one-handing a weapon and you strike an enemy that's shielded or is resistant to the damage type, that's when you bounce. And that's one-handed weak attacks. One-handed charged strong attacks don't bounce either. Bouncing is bad. It puts you in much longer recovery animation than just swinging through, obviously, because you don't get to go to the next stage of your combo. You go straight into recovery. Alright. There's an item down this way, and I would imagine... soft cotton. Soft cotton is useful for some crafts. Also not one I see often, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Alright. We are coming up on the hour mark for our duration here. I don't want to go too far past an hour per episode, just to make sure that the uploads to YouTube are kosher. I don't remember what the boss from this place is. Is it one of the Alabaster Lords? Nope. Just a big-ass Misbegotten. Come here, buddy. Oof. One more firebomb on it. Do it! Yeah. Rusted anchor. Interesting weapon. Alright. And we're moving right along. I had forgotten that tunnel was completely forgotten that tunnel was there. Let's see if we can't get through this forest I keep telling you I'm going to go to. Those spirit geysers, or I can't remember the name for them. Spirit tunnel? No. Whatever they are, they let you. Fuck you guys. Quite frankly. So these lead you to dungeons, and maybe we'll come back after on the next episode and grab that. I want more stuff off the ground, and I want, yeah, there it is. There's what we're looking for. Hey, biggin. Oh, we're at night too. They are slightly more dangerous at night. Slightly. Ow! Ow! That didn't work. She has access to some manner of magic. I need her to stagger. There we go. Thank you! And the staff and the burst. Nice. Alright. Incompetent play right there. I'm so sorry you had to see that. Whew. All right. Thing down here. I believe this is a trap. Shield of the Guilty. I don't know what that does. Causes blood loss buildup. Significantly less damage negation than my current shield. Not for me, I don't think. All right. I'll be honest with you. Kind of want to keep going. And I think I'm gonna press on, because I think I want to go kill Margit. Oh, hey, bigot. Oh! Stepped right into that. Ow. That's what I want to see. Ah. Ah. Stagger. Fuck you. God. I hate that fight. I'm being impatient because I want to get to market. I need to quit. Hey, it's Withing Zone. We gotta have enough at this point to get the next weapon up to +3, whatever that is. Alright. On our way to Storm Hill. A random wolf spawn. I'm still not sure the significance of that one. Stop and talk to Rodrika. That was smooth as fuck.
Everyone's been grafted. Everyone who came with me. They crossed the sea for me. They fought for me. Only to have their arms taken. Their legs taken. Even their heads taken. Taken and stuck to the spider. Did you know? If you're grafted by the spider, you become a chrysalid. It's quite a lark when you think about it. You're all on your own, are you? And heading to Stormvale Castle? Enticed by the one in the white mask, I suppose. Oh, you've come to be one with the spider? Well, that makes us two peas in a pod. But I don't have your courage. It's scary, you know, having your arms cut off, or legs, or your head. I want to be like everyone else, but I'm just too scared. I'm nothing but a craven. Oh, I know. Can you take this little one along with you? The poor thing deserves someone braver than myself. And the spirits look rather fondly upon you. It'll be glad of your company, I think, the little one. It was a pleasure to see you. Oh, can you pass on a message for me? If you see the little chrysalids in Stormvale Castle, tell them I love them. And that, despite my craven heart, I'm sure I'll be joining their club soon enough. I'm finally getting the hang of this whole pain thing, you know?
I'm not sure what she's referring to when she talks about chrysalids and some kind of ritual specifically to join the spider, who is presumably Godric. I'm going to use these. Try and gain as many levels as we can. ahead of pressing on. But it's interesting to think about why is it cross the sea from where? To do what specifically? Like, it sounds like to cross the sea to become one with Godric. Did Godric command it? What was the impetus to do that? Who said to do it? Why? What was the goal there? Alright. So as we press on up through here, just kind of press on past these guys. There's no point. Want this. Wild strikes. Forget what's in this direction. Ah, it is so easy in this game to just go running off somewhere to find out what's next. Oh! There's a highway over here that you can use to skip Godric entirely if you want.
You, please, I can read them. Your fingers, please, your fingers. Oh, bless you. Head to the foundation of gold tarnished. Traverse Rhea Lucaria, glintstone eventide, and reunite the half-crescents at the grand lift. Oh, but the bridge is collapsed and cannot be crossed. Only, why should that matter? Stormvale Castle still stands tall.
There's actually a route through here, if you want to take it, that lets you skip Stormvale. Stormvale is technically optional. But we don't want to do that. We want to go fight Margit. Oh. Notice the way the atmosphere has changed as we gotten closer to Stormvale. It's... Ow. The winds are picking up, the howling through the trees. It's much darker, much more intense. It's not as peaceful as Limgrave was. You can see soldiers' torches. Alright, we want to scoot on past for that reason. Oh, stamina. Hey, the shield. I think the rest of them are likely going to leave us alone, so fuck them. Let's rest, get our healing back. And that put me up at another level, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that endurance. We'll get faith up after I can push that endurance to 20. Sorcerer Roger. And we have other spirit friends to use. All right. Hey, witness.
Tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition. Someone must extinguish thy flame. Let it be Margit the Fell.
All right. Pay witness to one of the most famous filters in video games.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must freely run thy veins. Tarnished.
See that attack? That attack fucked so many people up. That delayed where he grabs his stick and like swings after a minute. Roger's not going to survive this fight. Nope. Just you and me now, pal. See, Margit begins the trend that a lot of these bosses have, where they have things specifically to fuck with player tactics. He has combos that don't leave you chances to just get free guard counters in. He has delayed attacks that will specifically meant to fuck with your parry timing if you've gotten good at it. I might actually die here. Woo! I'm gonna get aggressive. Oh.
Smoldering with thy meager flame. Cower in fear of the night. The hands of the fell omen shall brook thee no quarter.
Some people think he means the Knight's Cavalry there, or the other Omen, or himself later on. It's not entirely made clear.
Forgive me. I've been testing you to see whether or not grace truly does guide you, and whether you are fit to face the challenge that entails. It seems my worries were unfounded. Torrent had your measure from the very start, whereas I merely pretended. There is but one other thing I can do to offer you guidance. I can take you to the Round Table Hall, gathering place of tarnished champions, guided by grace. Very well.
All right.
Let my hand rest upon you for but a moment.
Here we are at Round Table Hold. an interesting hub, such as it is, closed off as it is from the rest of the game world, at least in some dimension hopping way.
Oh, this is a rare occasion. I can't remember the last time a new tarnished made their way to the round table. Very well. As your senior, I bid you welcome. It is safe here. You may let down your guard. Allow me a word of advice. As your senior, you are a mere visitor to the round table. Nothing more. A house guest. Yet to earn their keep. Remember your place, newcomer.
Fuck you, buddy.
There's nothing left to say. Be at your leisure.
So, this is an interesting hub, in that when you first arrive is kind of when it's the most active and populous that it will ever be. Right? Some characters arrive at the round table throughout the story, but in many cases, most of what happens is that they leave. The round table starts full and lively and warm and comforting, not necessarily in the same way that Majula was in Dark Souls 2, or as safe and interesting as the Firelink Shrines in Dark Souls 1 and 3, but full and homely in a way that dissipates as the game goes on.
You're a new face. No matter. It's all the same. Lay out your arms. Let's get smithing. I see you've noticed the chains. Nothing special. I'm a prisoner and these are my chains. I'm trapped by the hold. I'm dying, smithing for you fools. That's all there is to it.
Notice that he's the same shape and general kind of look as a misbegotten.
No, don't read too much into it. Well, no grudge against you. My being a prisoner is no fault of yours. Besides, I don't mind smithing. Despite my differences, the weapons get stronger all the same. Given time, technique never fails. Besides, it helps me forget the sheer terror of her.
Her, widely theorized to be Marika. Marika is an interesting character that we should talk about as well at some point. All right. We have enough smithing stones to get another 2 weapons, plus 3. Notably. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get broadsword to plus 5. And then we're going to go and we're going to get let's get our Morning Star to plus 3. And of course our Claymore to plus 3. Alright. I think here is a good place to stop. Next time we'll explore the ins and outs of Round Table Hold, talk to some of these interesting characters, and then proceed on to Stormvale. Maybe we'll proceed to Stormvale, maybe we won't. Maybe what'll next happen next is that I finally go and get that dragon thing done as I was going to do. In either case, thanks so much for hanging out with me at this late hour, and If you're watching the VOD later, thanks so much for sticking with me through this playthrough. I always appreciate the company, and I'll see you when I see you.